Hey, what's up, everybody? Michael Richards here with Elite Athletic Performance. We're going to go over my top tips for gaining the right kind of weight today. So stick around, should be a good one. So as always, who am I? I'm the owner, Michael Richards. I'm the owner of Elite Athletic Performance, LLC in Benton, Arkansas. A lot of background information, all kinds of stuff that we've got going on here is available on our website, so we don't have to waste time talking about it in this video. So if you want to check that out, you can. And if you're not interested, you don't have to. So first off, let's dive right into it. Who needs to gain weight? Some people do, some people don't. We need to make that distinction. So, you know, there are some kids that they already have the weight and size. They just need to train it to get more explosive and all that stuff. So basically, the best way that I know to tell, the easiest way, a good rule of thumb, is to take your height in inches and multiply it by 2.5. And that will give you a rough estimate of the body weight that you need to weigh, you know, in your senior year of high school, if possible. And if you are at your senior year, then that's your goal. Like, that's where you're, you know, I say that because, I mean, I don't need 13-year-olds looking at that and panicking because they're not at that. Of course they're not yet. You know, that's the long-range goal. So that's a good rule of thumb. I don't really get too far into the rabbit hole with body fat testing. Obviously, you're not trying to gain body fat, and I don't care what anybody tells you. There is no, like, body fat is never going to help you be better at sports, okay? So no matter what anybody tells you, never in the history of mankind and human performance or movement has fat made somebody move faster or more explosively. It doesn't happen. You don't put extra cargo in your truck and expect it to go faster. The only way that you can do that is to make that extra weight part of the engine, or, you know, anything else that will actually make the engine or make the thing move faster. So fat is not, it's not ever a goal, but it's going to happen a little bit. Don't freak out about it. Really and truly, if you can look down and you don't, like, in your weight, it's not, if you can still basically see your belt buckle with your shirt off, then you're fine, okay? If you can't, then maybe you need to dial back the fats and up the proteins a little bit. But that's probably a video for another day. Most of the people that are watching this video are this big around and desperately need to gain weight. So diving right into it, if there are only two things that you take away from this video, it needs to be these. Like, you need to hear me on this, and I'm speaking to the kids, the athletes watching this video. If you're a parent and I was speaking to you about your kid, I wouldn't be as harsh as some of the things that I'm going to say, but, you know, sometimes you have to speak in different languages to teenagers. So first off, number one, you have to take, and I mean, this is top priority, you will sabotage everything if you can't get this right. Everything else is a waste of time if you can't get this right, okay? If you go 3 to 4 hours without calories, this is the main thing. This is your boogeyman. This is what's causing you to not gain weight. You won't be able to gain weight if you do this, okay? No matter your efforts, all the supplements, everything, the lifting, all that stuff, if you're doing this, if you're going more than 3 to 4 hours while you're awake, not while you're asleep, while you're awake without calories, you're sabotaging every other effort you're making. It's a waste of time. And if you're not gonna get that right, you might as well, there's no point. I'm just telling you, like, it will not happen, okay? So, yes, I know that's a pain in the butt. I know it's a huge hassle, but anything that's worth going after is. So the easiest way to avoid this, I'm not saying that you have a meal every 3 to 4 hours. I said ingest calories. That's all I said. A can of almonds in your bag at all times is 100% the easiest way to do this. That trick right there, I have helped more people gain good weight with that trick than anything else, probably all of them combined. Okay, peanut butter does not count. And I know you're like, what? You know, because that's been the ultimate, you know, that's been everybody's go-to. Well, you're a hard gainer. You already don't have a big appetite. If you did have a big appetite, then you wouldn't be a hard gainer. Peanut butter is very filling. Almonds are not. You can fit 1,000 calories in the palm of your hand. Have you ever ate a whole bunch of peanut butter? Like, I'm hungry all the time, and that will make me feel sick with being so full. Being full, and we're going to touch on this in a minute, is the enemy for you. We don't want you full, because then you're not going to eat for days. So, and plus on top of that, the logistics of it, if you carry peanut butter, then you got to have a spoon, you got to have a jar. It's hard to sneak in class, because I mean, let's face it, you're going to have to do that some. It's hard to sneak at school, I should say, not necessarily in class, but it's just the logistics of almonds or any other type of nut. I would stay away from peanuts for some reason. I'd probably go cashews or almonds or something, but really it doesn't matter. That's how you get those ingestion of calories. Now, some of you have nut allergies. I understand that. I would go with beef jerky and Sour Patch Kids or some other candy that you like. The reason that I throw the Sour Patch Kids in is because beef jerky alone doesn't have enough calories, okay? So you get your protein, you get your sugar, your carbs, and that's for if you're a hard gainer. So, if you're like only need to gain 5-10 pounds, then beef jerky alone would be fine. So, all right, that's that. The second one, I am still shocked every time I hear somebody doing this. I know y'all mean well, but like if you're conditioning on your own, like you're the one that's making the decision to go out and like run a mile or something like that, for the love of God, please stop. Like you are destroying all those precious calories that you have ingested. That right there will help you gain, like that will take care of probably 5 or 6 pounds on its own if you're doing that a few times a week. Stop doing it. And on top of that, listen, man, I love you. I don't even know you. I love you already. I care about you, but I'm just telling you this, you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how the human body works. So going out and jogging a mile, any type of conditioning outside of 10 to 20 yard sprints with a lot of rest in between, that's fine for conditioning. I still probably wouldn't do it if you desperately need to gain weight, because even that will eat up some calories. And gaining weight is the most crucial thing to your performance, gaining good weight. There is no conditioning in the world that is going to hold a candle, not even a fraction of a candle that putting on 15 pounds of muscle will. None. All right, and I don't care who tells you otherwise. I don't care like what you think you know or what you don't know. You're wrong. Gaining 15 pounds of muscle will fix all the problems that you're trying to solve with that conditioning and then some, okay? So now if you're in class, you're being forced into it by a coach, that's different. We can't do anything about it. It doesn't mean we like it, doesn't mean I like it. There's nothing we can do about that, but don't do it on your own, please, okay? All right, inevitably, you're gonna get told to, and I actually meant to put a picture, if you've seen that show South Park, there's that episode where Cartman's drinking all the weight gainer shakes and he gets like really fat and he's walking around saying beefcake, beefcake, beefcake. I actually meant to put that in there, I forgot. So, but you're gonna get told about these shakes that somebody's brothers, sisters, uncles, dogs, nephew, whatever, took and gained 50 pounds in 3 days, and you're gonna hear about that and you're gonna wanna know what that shake is, and I'm telling you right now, don't do it, okay? The reason is, if you go and you drink this massive shake, you could get away with it maybe before bed, maybe. But especially if you drink it in the morning, what are you gonna do? What's gonna happen? You're not gonna eat the rest of the day. You're a hard gainer. You don't have a big appetite. If you are full, you won't eat. What did I just tell you? What was the first thing I told you? You can't go more than 3 to 4 hours without eating. If you're full and this will make you full, then we just broke the first rule. That's called intermittent fasting, and I use that. That is a weight loss tool. I actually use that to keep my weight down under a certain number. Don't do it. You've got to have those calories. You need to graze. It's funny for the parents watching this, most of you will remember at a certain point, and some people still think this for some reason. Like in the 90s, everybody that wanted to lose weight thought you had to eat 6 meals a day, which is still just absurd to me, but we all kind of bought in, and I guess I bought in a little bit back then, mainly because I loved that idea, but everybody thought you had to eat 3 meals and 2 snacks a day to keep your blood sugar stable and all. It's a load of crap, and basically where we went wrong was that's what bodybuilders use to gain mass, okay? So you need to follow that advice. You need to graze throughout the day. So there's a lot of people figuring that out now, that was not correct from a weight loss or just basically, what we call a gen pop, a general population person, a non-athlete. Then no, 6 meals a day is not necessarily a great idea. 6 meals a day or 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks a day is ideal for an athlete. Basically necessary, not ideal, like it's required, okay? So like I just said, if you're stuffed in 3 to 4 hours, it's counterproductive. The shake did nothing, those calories you need to ingest in 3 to 4 hours are way more important than the 9 million calories you got in that shake, okay? All right, next one. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And it's really hard to do, but it's not negotiable, okay? It's really hard to do and it's not negotiable. I could live on steak and chicken and eggs for the rest of my life practically. Maybe with some sweet potatoes thrown in, or a tortilla to put some ground beef on or something like that, and I would be happy and content. A little bit of cheese, right? I still have a hard time getting to 200 grams of protein a day. I weigh 225 pounds. And like I said, I could eat meat and nothing else practically for every meal, all right? You're gonna struggle with this. Is it hard? Yes, it is. But if you want it bad enough, if it's important enough to you, you're gonna find a way. And if it's not, don't come complaining to me about wanting to gain weight, okay? Not some of you watching this are on the other side of the country, but you know what I mean. My parents used to tell me, like, if I had a bad idea and I was gonna go do it, and they saw that I was about to do it, and once they saw that it wasn't gonna kill me or anything, they'd be like, hey, if you think that's a good idea and you're gonna do that, fine, go do it, but don't come crying to me when whatever bad happens. That's kind of how I treat things. If you don't want to do all this stuff, fine, but don't come crying to me when you can't gain weight, all right? Myfitnesspal is one of the most underutilized resources out there. It's completely free. It will tell you your macros, it will tell you all that stuff, which you don't really need to know, but it is basically necessary to know how much protein you're taking in. Everybody gets on an eating routine. We all have routines, right? So after a few days of tracking like this, you'll know whether you've got what you need on a daily basis. It's not like you have to track it every day. If you're eating the same thing every day, then there's not a lot to track after a few days, right? So you don't have to do it for more than a few days, but like that first few days is really important for you to look down and be like, oh, I'm only at 60 grams of protein. I'm supposed to be at 140 or whatever, so you need to do that for a few days. Utilize that. It's free. You can download it on your iPhone or whatever phone you've got, and it's real simple to use. You don't have to go way down into the rabbit hole with it. Just use it to learn how much protein you're taking in. All right, so a couple quick tips to close it out with. Every parent that brings their kid in here, that needs to gain weight, they tell me some version of this: all he eats is junk. I get it, and it worries you. If you're a parent watching this, I get it. Believe me, I have a kid. I know. What I'm trying to do, well, first off, not that I'm a parenting genius, but I do spend a lot of time around teenagers. And this is a newsflash that's not a newsflash for you. They pretty much do everything exactly opposite of what you tell them, and I'm right. So hounding him about that, it's not going to work. They're very simple creatures, teenagers are, okay? If you trick them into thinking they're getting their way, you can usually get your way, okay? So I always say, I don't care if he has the junk. If he wants to live off Sour Patch Kids and Red Hots, fine. As long as there's a steak next to those Sour Patch Kids and Red Hots, then whatever, all right? Just have some meat with your junk, and I'll be happy. We'll all get what we want, right? So he'll grow out of that a little bit, maybe, as he goes. Kids are gonna do that, and they're gonna double down on it the more you tell them, the more you tell them to stop doing it. So, and that one vegetable he eats once a month is not really doing that much good for him anyway. So unless you've got him eating vegetables every day, then, I really wouldn't freak out about it. So basically, as far as that goes, if you're worried about the kid eating junk, just let him have his junk. Make sure he has some meat with it, lots of meat with it, depending on how much he needs to gain. So, supplements. Everybody asks me this. Look, if you're not taking protein powder and creatine, you're missing out. Like, just shut up and take them. I mean, that's the only way I know to put it. Like, get a protein powder that you like. Don't get, like, the protein powder, that needs to be a supplement. That's one of your snacks. That is not a meal, okay? You can take your creatine with your protein. You can take it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to load it like some people are going to tell you. You're just going to poop most of that out. It's going to upset your stomach. You don't have to load it. 1 teaspoon a day, just a heaping teaspoon a day. Put it in water, put it straight in your mouth, put it in your creatine, or put it in your protein. It doesn't matter. You just have to have a spoon a day. Don't overcomplicate it. Get the cheapest stuff at Academy Sports or wherever, and it's creatine monohydrate. You don't need any other version of it. Just get the cheapest straight creatine monohydrate you can find. You do not have to overcomplicate this, and take it every day. If I could get my grandmother and my mom to take creatine, I would. That is the most amazing supplement on earth, and there is still nothing negative to be found about that stuff in a clinical research, okay? So don't let anybody tell you that it's banned or it's this or that. Like, creatine is fine, all right? It's more than fine, it's amazing, all right? So creatine, shut up and take it. So that just about does it for this video. Hopefully it helped. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll see you in the next video.